My world shattered when my wife dropped the bomb. If you love me, let me fuck other men after years of marriage. Be me, 37 years old Richard Parker. Want to tell the story of how my marriage and family fell apart. It all started with my ex-wife Victoria Blackwood Parker, and her concerning lack of personal hygiene. Everything began with a blind date, set up by mutual friends. Victoria had just finished college, started working an associate management program at Pacific Coast Bank, all thanks to her business management degree. Meanwhile, I had just started at Summit Accounting, still getting used to living in Phoenix. My coworker Christopher thought it would be perfect to arrange a double date with his girlfriend Amanda. They had been dating for about 8 months, thought Victoria and I would be perfect together. Picture this: accountant meets business intern. First blind date ever. The anticipation was electric. Both of us weren't looking for anything physical that night, just wanted to enjoy the company. But she seemed really hesitant about physical contact, almost hiding behind layers of clothes. Despite the awkward beginning, we actually had great conversation. Talked about career goals, found out we had similar backgrounds, both from middle-income families in small towns, each chasing our own version of success. I wanted to use my accounting skills to start my own business. She was more interested in climbing the corporate ladder, with occasional breaks for having kids, even though she was shy at first. Could see her becoming more confident in the future. Night ended with me walking her to her apartment. Got a quick, emotionless hug, and a thank you for the evening. Still better than drinking alone in my tiny apartment on Saturday. Monday comes around, Christopher stops by my office. Has this huge grin on his face. Tells me Victoria couldn't stop talking about me to Amanda. Apparently wanted me to call her, like we're back in middle school. Didn't think I made that much of an impression, but figured it was worth giving it a shot. After a few months of dating, finally saw the beauty hidden beneath Victoria's conservative clothes. She had the figure of a magazine model, full curves and incredible physique. She told me she always hid her looks in high school, wanted to avoid unwanted attention. But with me, she felt safe enough to be herself. Despite this initial attraction, our marriage eventually crumbled, all because of her neglect of personal hygiene, led to permanent damage in our relationship and family, even with our mix of closeness and deep bond. Built on admiration, trust, and mutual care, we thought our love would last forever. Marriage and children felt natural. Had 2 beautiful daughters, Isabella and Lucy. Our intimate moments were always satisfying, both before and after kids arrived. Bought a starter home, complete with typical minivan. Victoria kept climbing corporate ladder, taking on more responsibilities. Meanwhile, I was thriving at Summit Accounting. Even got time off to pursue my CPA. Mr. Harrison, owner of Summit, became my mentor. Taught me more than I ever learned in school. One afternoon during lunch, he confided something important. Told me about plans to sell the firm to larger accounting group. Richard, you're my best employee, but you won't succeed under new ownership. Shared all his concerns with me. Think about starting your own practice before the buyout, Mr. Harrison suggested, catching me off guard. They'll crush your entrepreneurial spirit, leave you feeling empty inside. Realize your potential and plan ahead. I'll help you keep some clients, so you won't struggle financially. Couldn't even speak, just felt overwhelming gratitude for his offer. Over the weekend, Victoria and I had a serious talk. Don't settle for being just an employee. She pushed me. Focus on corporate advancement. Build a stable future. But I worried about growing bitter. Doing the same accounting tasks forever. This felt like my chance to break free from routine. Chase my longtime dreams. That's too risky, Victoria warned. Pointed at our 2 young children. Reminded me of our responsibilities. Told her I couldn't wait forever to take my shot. Though hesitant, she finally agreed. Set strict financial boundaries, though. I'll pay half of household expenses, but won't fund any of your business ventures. I'll give everything I've got, I promised. Wished I could better express my gratitude for her support despite her doubts. Victoria stayed firm on her position, refused to help with any loans for my new business. After her unpleasant behavior lately, didn't want her bank involved anyway, still hoped she'd change her mind. Once I started making real profits, as the year went on, money got really tight. Victoria kept bringing in steady paychecks, while my income went up and down. By the end of my 2nd year, though, started making more than her, but she preferred her safe monthly salary. Found it boring, honestly. My business approach changed completely. Moved from just managing finances to advising on potential deals. Matched my goals perfectly. Found out I was really good at it. With increased earnings, started investing more in my business. Kept my personal income at Victoria's level. Put extra money into investments. Loved negotiating reduced consulting fees. In exchange for equity stakes, usually took 5% to 15% ownership. This setup worked great for everyone. Clients got lower startup costs, plus access to my expertise. Being an investor made audits more complex. But I was totally fine with that. Company value kept growing, way more than lost accounting fees. They could buy me out anytime, based on agreed market value, but Victoria hated my setup, especially about startup investments. To avoid fights, stopped mentioning my firm's revenue, focused on building net worth instead, even if balance sheet didn't show it, since shares were valued at purchase price. Had great staff in place now, could spend more time with kids during tax season, made it to all their performances, handled every parent-teacher conference myself. Life felt pretty good. Kids were doing great. Victoria and I seemed to be moving forward. Her skills earned her promotion, assistant vice president at the bank, reporting to multiple bosses. After her promotion, she insisted we needed bigger house, more prestigious. To match her bank status, I suggested waiting, but she went ahead anyway. Signed contract at showing next Saturday. Felt completely powerless. Couldn't even object. Through Chamber of Commerce connections, got to know some loan officers at her bank. They told me Victoria called me. The little accountant. That disrespect started showing at home. Her snide comments about my profession. Found myself excluded from bank events, Christmas parties, summer gatherings. Made professional distance even worse. Clearly needed to address our relationship. That Saturday afternoon, confronted her in living room. Asked for a few minutes of her time. She gave me this disgusted look. "It can wait. Need to do laundry," she said. Wouldn't give up. "Can you spare 15 minutes tonight?" I asked. As she walked away, she sighed, muttered, "Yes, fine." Decided to wait until later. Wanted to show how she ignored me. Dismissed my feelings. But when kids went to bed, she claimed exhaustion. Cut conversation short. Sunday morning no better. Kids getting ready for Sunday school. Church services. While girls played with neighborhood kids, saw Victoria grabbing her bag. Heading for door. Stopped her. "Do you have a few minutes to talk?" She snapped at me. "Why keep pestering me all weekend?" Acting like little boy wanting mother's attention. "Can't you see I'm leaving?" "Need to help my mom with checkbook." "Back in an hour. Can you wait that long?" "Been 24 hours since I asked for 15 minutes. "I can wait another hour," I replied. 4 hours later, she's in kitchen making dinner. Took my chance to bring it up again. After dinner started. Expressed concerns about emotional distance. State of our marriage. Her fork crashed onto plate. Girls looked at me curious. Our communication has changed. Feel lack of respect in our marriage. Need to address this before it gets worse, said through clenched teeth. This isn't right time or place, she shot back. Surprised you'd bring this up with girls here. Should be ashamed. Victoria, you ignored me for 30 hours. When I asked to talk, now shutting me out again? Is there something I should know? She pushed chair back, took plate to kitchen, left house completely. Well, that talk was shorter than expected. Girls totally shocked by confrontation, Isabella asked through tears. Are you and Mom getting divorced? Had tears in my own eyes. Tried to stay calm. No, honey, nobody's getting divorced. Remember how you and your sister argue sometimes? Well, parents have disagreements too. Doesn't mean we don't love each other. Or love you and Lucy any less. Mom didn't run away. Just went for a drive. That seemed to calm them down. Still felt uneasy though. Cleaned up kitchen. Caught up on work and office. Put girls and myself to bed. Heading to bedroom thought, if she doesn't like it, she can sleep on sofa. Almost midnight when she came in. Watched her undress. Approached the bed. Lifted blanket. Inviting her to settle beside me. She cuddled close. Not saying I was wrong, but I'll try to treat you with respect. Like I expect from my husband. Hugged her tight. Whispered, that's wonderful. I want to be best husband for you. This calmed things at home. For a while at least. Few years later, she got promoted again. Vice President of Regulatory Compliance. Had to ensure bank followed all rules. FDIC, Federal Reserve, currency regulations. Her philosophy was simple. Nothing without explicit approval. From governing body, clashed with my belief. If no rule against it, it's legal. Created lots of family tension. Luckily, she never knew about my investments. Legal, but wouldn't meet her standards. As fiscal official. Around this time, Victoria started going to Tuesday bachelorette parties. Longer she stayed. Later she came home. Our daughters were 16 and 14 now. Didn't need babysitter anymore. Still needed parent around though. I was always there for them. One Tuesday evening, heard cursing from master bathroom. Went upstairs to check. Found her at sink, yelling damn, damn, damn. Asked what's wrong. She growled at me, like I'd left mess in sink. My wedding ring fell in. Think you can get it? Or should I call plumber? Didn't like how she doubted my abilities. Looked under sink. If it's in trap, I can get it. Just take a minute. She snapped back. Don't worry, won't need it today anyway. That hit me hard. Going out without wedding ring? Set off alarm bells. Had to learn more, but seeing her hostile mood, decided to keep quiet, stay alert, glanced at her quickly. Saw she'd gone to bedroom, wearing new lingerie, never seen before, just regular girls' night. Like every Tuesday? Don't you remember? She snapped. Clearly annoyed by questions, went to garage for pliers. To get ring from trap. Before could return, she left without word. Since drain was on her side, of double sink, had to move her stuff to reach trap. Found weird brown box of toilet paper. What's inside shocked me. Enema and douching kit. What the hell? She'd been complaining about irritable bowel syndrome and diarrhea. Always thought she was being difficult. When did she start needing to douche? Looking through items, noticed enema nozzle was wet. Felt like important clue. They say husbands are last to know, but what do I really understand? In my career, always dig into every detail. When making business plan, good and bad both. That's exactly what needed now. Start investigating, but first had to get her ring. From under sink, maybe she'd need it. Maybe she wouldn't. Only time would tell. Marked spot on floor. Where found brown box. With pencil. Took photos of contents too. Wanted to see if she'd move things, or rearrange them. When she got home around midnight, she undressed, closed bathroom door, jumped in shower, pretended to sleep, but heart racing. When she fell into bed, heard her giggle softly, like nothing wrong. Woke up early next morning, mostly because sleep impossible. Made point to close bathroom door. Before my shower, checked brown box again. Sure enough, it moved. Douche tip still wet. Box shifted slightly. From where I marked, douching before bed. Enema before going out. Someone having quite a night. Used Ziploc bag. Carefully removed her smelly underwear. Sent it for biological testing. As accountant, knew everything about property division and divorce cases. Handled many evaluations. For both sides, in divorce scenario, Victoria would keep house. Until daughters finished college, I'd pay child support. Get less time with kids than I had now. If investments labeled insignificant, might not owe her anything, since she thought they worthless. View I surprisingly shared. Refused to support household, where she could throw parties, while daughters ignored. This situation unacceptable. With information gathered, started planning next moves. Getting custody of girls. Top priority. Always could make money. Proved that already. Now needed to show worth. As father, focused on highlighting Victoria's failures as mother. Thought about emotional poison, not chemical kind. Her perfectionist ways often led to explosions. When things didn't go right, small problems became huge disasters. For her, when she lost it, hostility didn't just hit colleagues. I felt it. So did our kids. Planned to use this emotional toxicity. Create distance between her and daughters. Make them want to stay with me after divorce. If that happened, both house and girls would be mine. Quietly crept to her alarm clock. Silenced it. She hated being late, especially after late night out. When kids came down for breakfast, asked where mom was, explained she came home late, might sleep in longer. They understood completely. Always loved extra sleep themselves. After noticing her late night phone habits, accessed her video playlist, hit play and unmute, hoped her phone would die. Before she woke, had important staff meeting. Wednesday morning, hour later, heard shriek through house, followed by my name being screamed. Apparently my fault she overslept. After late night activities, took opportunity to escape to garage. Found perfect timing. One tire on her Mercedes had deflated enough to trigger dashboard warning, something she absolutely hated. Her screen full of alerts would drive her crazy. During morning commute, meanwhile, Isabella and Lucy would face her frustration as she rushed around house, trying to dress, style hair, apply makeup, all at once. In garage, decided to have more fun. Adjusted door settings to prevent opening. She wouldn't notice until tried to leave. Found it wouldn't respond. When she finally tried exiting, slammed right into garage door. Lower panels buckled from impact. 3 of us stood nearby, watching chaos. Couldn't hear her distress as she pounded steering wheel, desperately trying to move Mercedes forward. Straightened damaged panels. Lifted door with groaning squeal. Victoria stormed out of garage. Nearly hit mailbox and rush. This turning out more entertaining than expected. Couldn't wait to see her reaction. When trying to contact office, with dead cell phone, less involved I seemed. Better it would be. Hugged Isabella and Lucy. Assured them mom just stressed. She'll feel better when gets home. Still loves you, but not so much me. Added that part. Made all 3 of us laugh. Set bedroom alarm clock to highest volume. Let her confirm it was set. Unlike Victoria, gotta work on time. My employees always appreciated my cheerful morning mood. Whistled way into office. Good spirits lasted until 10 a.m. When cell phone vibrated. Almost fell off table. Well, must be dear wife calling. Answered with casual, "Good morning, dear." What followed was pure profanity. "Get your backside over here." "Fix my tire." Nearly died driving this death trap. "If you'd let me get that BMW I wanted, wouldn't be in this mess." "Take it easy," I replied. Staying calm. "You have roadside assistance. Just call them. Handle it themselves." "Screw you," she fired back. Since morning gone so well, told my assistant, had some errands to run, would return after lunch. First stop was security store. Needed small cameras for house and hidden voice recorder. For her purse, getting intel on adversaries, becoming crucial. Returning home, installed cameras in living room and our bedroom. Although fixed garage panels still showed scars. From morning incident, visual reminder of chaos. That entertained neighbors. Back at work, carefully reviewed all personal banking and investment records. We shared one joint credit card. Promptly canceled it. Joint bank account for household expenses. Left it open. Made mental note. Ensure half my income. Deposited there every payday. Got home before Victoria, as usual. Making dinner when heard garage door creaking open. Victoria stormed in like hurricane. Startled both girls at kitchen table. They screamed seeing her. "Had worst day ever," she muttered. Approaching me menacingly, announced going upstairs for bath. Girls and I had quiet dinner, speaking in whispers, like secret conspirators. Went upstairs, offered Victoria dinner. She threw soap bar at me. "If wanted dinner, would have told you. Now leave me alone." Perfect chance to slip recorder. Into her purse. Made small cut while she distracted. Then retreated to living room sofa. Decided against sharing bed. Next morning, loud rap music from alarm clock, mixed with Victoria's cursing, and girls' screams, echoed through house. Doubt even seasoned Marine could match morning noise in my household. While Victoria busy in bathroom, took chance to smear dark brown grease from lawnmower onto her car seat in garage when she sat on lubricant. During commute, people might think, had embarrassing accident. This time literally, once again endured her anger, frustration like night before. To make story more believable, also smeared skirt she wore previous day. Her assistant Linda, married to one of my friends, called to tell how Victoria found stained skirt. Hurricane Victoria brewing? She warned. Better prepare yourselves. Following days stopped tormenting her, but mishaps kept happening. Diamond earring vanished from table. Dress from last Tuesday. Mysteriously got red wine stain. Favorite shoes lining started peeling. Thank goodness knew where. She kept password book. Found herself locked out of frequently visited sites. Every time drove Mercedes, ball bearing rolled around. In car door, with every turn or break, day after day. Minor annoyances plagued her, like death by 1,000 cuts. Just when thought things couldn't get more interesting, ultimate test came Tuesday after work. Victoria came home to change for bachelorette party. Didn't say word to anyone in house. Made sure bathroom door locked. Undressed. Repeated same routine as last Tuesday. Wet enema tip making appearance again. Only difference this time was tracking her movements using mobile phone locator. According to device, first stop was Riverfront Grill. Then headed to dance club called Gold Crown. Wasn't too worried about what she did inside club. More interested in who she left with. Watching from comfort of my house. Followed her to Gold Crown. Finished coffee in parking lot. Spotted Victoria leaving bar. Hand in hand with man. They embraced. Kissed passionately. Before separating, he drove off in his car. Followed them for block. Then let locator do its work. They ended up at Highway Inn, near interstate. From distance watched them. Enter room with exterior door. Figured they'd be, well, noted make model license plate of man's car in dim parking lot. Deflated driver's side front tire. Just enough to trigger. Low pressure warning on dashboard. Noticed pickup truck nearby. Smeared grease on windshield. Knew she'd use wipers. When discovered mess, making windshield temporarily useless. Tomorrow would be eager to hear what voice recorder in her purse captured information needed would soon be mine. After 1 a.m., she stumbled into bedroom, undressed, slammed bathroom door, probably preparing for shower. That night didn't touch alarm clock or phone, hoping actions would seem random. Few hours later, while snoring beside me, quietly got out of bed, retrieved recorder from purse, loaded it into laptop to charge, returned it without trace. Next morning, with Victoria and girls gone, eagerly listened to recording. Despite dinner noise and club sounds, voice recorder worked perfectly. Captured their motel activities. Learned boyfriend's name was Benjamin. Their connection obvious. Shared mutual excitement. Meeting every Tuesday night. Visiting Regency Hotel every other Thursday during business hours. Think your accountant husband will ever catch on? Benjamin asked, laughing. Right after Lucy heads to college, Victoria replied. Love my girls but don't want to spend prime years chasing soccer balls with them. He's world's best dad and grateful for that. Just gives me more time with you. What's keeping you from leaving him now? Benjamin pressed. Could get alimony? Spend even more time with me. Victoria laughed. If divorced him and got alimony, still have to pay for childcare. Maid and cook. My pushover does it all free. Even contributes to joint account. Don't have to cover as many expenses now. Victoria continued speaking, voice full of satisfaction. Plus, I can save big portion of salary, where he won't find during divorce. Use it for household expenses, while building secret stash. Speaking of divorces, Benjamin asked, when you ending things with your Ice Queen wife? That's set in stone, my dear, she replied triumphantly. She insisted on prenup before marriage. Only agreed after included 20-year validity period, 3 more years and get half of her multi-million-dollar stock portfolio. Benjamin chuckled. See, timing is perfect. Your prenup expires same time. Lucy heads to college. Then we can both move on. Felt blood run cold. Couldn't believe their selfishness and level of deceit. They deserved each other. 2 people who'd probably spend lives trying to outsmart one another. Emotionally and financially, even expressed safety concerns. Taking turns booking rooms at Regency Hotel every other week to avoid creating pattern. Before leaving, Victoria carefully checked all tires, left garage door open, but her contempt for me and girls remained painfully clear. As expected, test results confirmed. Biological substances on underwear. Armed with this evidence, instructed my lawyer Peter West to start divorce proceedings, seeking full custody of girls. Based on role as primary caregiver, given their mother's conduct, doubted girls would want to maintain contact with her. Peter, want to include this? But won't be easy, he cautioned. Proposed dividing house until sold, each keeping respective investments and retirement funds. After both girls left for college, matching my taxable income with hers would ensure neither owed child support, while she'd cover regular childcare costs, including college tuition. Had saved enough for tuition, housing, books, meals, but extracurricular activities. Different story entirely. When promoted to full vice president, Victoria enrolled in banks, deferred compensation program, decided to leave that account alone. Unless she came after my partnerships, would use deferred compensation as leverage against her demands. Planning for divorce. Started moving important items, from house to storage, backing up computer daily, to external drive kept separate. Though intended to keep house, unsure how Victoria would react. When received summons, following Peter's advice, hired private investigator to identify Benjamin and his workplace, gave him license plate number. To speed up search, as third quarter ended, bank preparing for annual budget process, employees filling out questionnaires, each department reassessing work and budget, senior management team planning formal dinner and dance at Regency Hotel, black tie event for executives and spouses, many booking hotel rooms. Victoria talked about event for years. By time she got into exclusive group, I'd been deemed unworthy. Often reminded me about event, thinking it might motivate me toward greater success. But I'd grown indifferent, tired of their world, constant swirl of pretension, and backpatting, searching for infidelity evidence. Went through her closets and drawers, almost daily. Week before event, found new shoebox, hidden in furthest corner of closet. Inside were stunning pair of crystal designer evening shoes, trendy and pristine. No receipt in sight. Quick Google search showed. Cost over $1,200. With big night approaching, considered my response. First thought about switching. Elegant shoes with yard boots, or pair of cheap sandals. Instead took shoes to shop. Carefully adjusted tall, slender heels, turning them slightly sideways. In bench vise, once finished, rewrapped with precision. Returned to original spot. Knowing damage wouldn't show yet. Day before event, investigator called me to office. Had crucial information. As sat down, he revealed, Victoria's lover was Benjamin Hargrove, senior loan officer at her bank. This revelation had serious consequences for both their careers, especially since Victoria's main duty was overseeing compliance within credit department. Bank had strict policy against inter-employee relationships. They were walking on thin ice. Excellent intel, I acknowledged. Can you set up cameras? At senior management meeting at Regency Hotel Friday night, gave him Victoria's photo, requested footage of her movements and dancing Both celebrated as he got another check, and I received reliable information. To strengthen my case, footage from Friday night was absolutely hilarious. Detective laughed watching Victoria stagger around, apparently intoxicated, tilted heel making her stumble, into tables and chairs, even knocked over 2 wine bottles. Made mental note to submit footage to America's Funniest Home Videos. Once had her sign release. Naturally, she and Benjamin retreated to his room for Night of Passion, all carefully documented by discreet camera, slipped under hotel door. Amazing how far technology had come. Though Victoria returned home before noon Saturday, didn't see her until late Sunday morning. Usually she'd come home exhausted Wednesday afternoons, probably from late Tuesday night classes, but this Wednesday felt different as she grumbled greeting, heading to bathroom, prepared to adjust hot water for her bath, waited patiently while she fiddled with tap, finding right balance of hot and cold, hearing sink start running, realized she was washing up, headed to utility room, each faucet in house, connected to separate water lines, controlled by manifold on wall, quickly shut off hot water, to bathroom, let tub fill with cold water. Once flow stopped, turned hot water valve back on, heard painful sound, as wife eased into icy bath. Bubbles made surface slippery. She struggled to find footing. Rushing to her aid, watched in disbelief as she yanked towel rack off wall, trying to escape. Had to crawl back under cold water, holding back laughter, as finally managed to free her. Frustrated by sudden lack of hot water, she slapped me. Commotion drew our daughters, who rushed in, only to witness their mother's meltdown. "Get out!" she barked, sending them away in tears. Despite their innocent protests, worse than anticipated. Never expected her to lash out at them like that. Had miscalculated direction of her anger. Then she turned eyes toward me. "What hell you staring at?" "Fix my bathtub." "Can't you manage one simple task?" "In this house?" Led her back to bathtub. Restored hot water. She's still seething. As took her hand. Let warmth flow over it. "Plenty of hot water now." Remarked, trying to lighten mood. After moment of silence. Excused myself. Took girls out for dinner. Pulled over a few blocks away. To comfort them. "So sorry you had to see that outburst." "You don't deserve it. You're amazing kids. I'm so proud of you. Please forgive your mother for her behavior. And forgive me for letting it happen." Words seemed to soothe them. Reminded me to be careful. How distanced us from Victoria was almost too enjoyable. Tormenting her. By time returned home, was bedtime. Left kitchen as it was. Settled onto living room sofa. In dead of night. Sensed ominous presence. There she was. Victoria standing before me. All could manage was weak. Yes. She just stood there moment. Finally spoke. "Shouldn't have yelled at girls like that." "Not their fault. Must have turned wrong knob. Been overwhelmed lately. Upset about so many things. Flat tires, garage doors breaking, shoes problems. Every little thing feels like end of world. Need to get life back on track." With that, she turned. Went upstairs. Felt that was all she needed say. Following week brought surprise. Business partner had 2-bedroom condo in Crystal Valley, Montana. Asked if wanted to rent it. Happened to be week between Christmas and New Year's. Lease was for full year, but previous tenants backed out. Friend already put down deposit. Offered to me at half price. Said I'd think about it. Girls still upset after mother's outburst. Though Victoria apologized, her harsh words lingered. In their minds and hearts, asked if they'd join me for skiing trip to Crystal Valley. They eagerly agreed. Rushing to hug and kiss me. That night booked round-trip tickets to Helena for 4 of us. Last attempt to save marriage by spending quality time together as family. Even paid extra for cancellation option. When Victoria came home, cleaned up and dressed for dinner, had one of girls invite her to ski trip. They chose Isabella, knowing she couldn't keep quiet. Mom, Dad rented 2-bedroom condo in Crystal Valley for week after Christmas. Can you come with us? It'll be so much fun. Victoria smiled at first, then expression turned thoughtful. Couldn't read what she thinking. Then eyebrows lifted. Smirk crossed her lips. Love to honey, but it's year end. Crucial for bank to balance everything. By December 31st, need to stay in city. Really sorry. Felt wave of disappointment. Sorry, Isabella felt let down. Sorry, Victoria declined. With such flimsy excuse, year-end financials had nothing to do with family ski trip. Clear to me she saw this as opportunity to spend 7 nights in our bedroom with that idiot Benjamin. Following week, my private investigator upgraded cameras to Wi-Fi enabled ones, could monitor things at home in real time while in Montana. Wasn't just eager to watch her Her adultery rendezvous had something else planned. Day of departure treated her enema tip with habanero pepper juice. If wanted spicy encounter, she was in for surprise. Before leaving for airport, Victoria was cordial, offered well wishes and hugs, appreciated brief affection, reciprocated with genuine, "I love you." She quickly replied, "Love you too." Flight and rental car ride were uneventful. Isabella and Lucy excited. First visit to Rockies, rushed to deck to see view. Meanwhile, set up computer to access Wi-Fi cameras at home. As expected, Victoria arrived around 6 p.m., headed straight for bathroom. Wasn't interested in bedroom antics, focused instead on living room and kitchen. Suddenly, Victoria stumbled downstairs, shrieking in agony. Seemed she discovered habanero-infused enema, face flushed with embarrassment and pain. Couldn't help imagining investigators' amusement. At scene unfolding, appeared Benjamin wouldn't visit today. Wondered how long till recovery from unexpected turn of events. Shame if romantic plans spoiled. For entire week we're away. Putting that aside, 3 of us enjoyed. Christmas decorated downtown Crystal Valley. Had pizza amid snowy scenery. On way back to condo, girls drawn to music, coming from teen club. "Dad, can we check it out?" Isabella asked, happy to oblige, especially considering all they'd been through. Escorted them inside. While girls danced and laughed, found table to monitor them, caught up on emails. Without feeling neglectful, didn't take long for them to attract boys' attention, having lively conversations, dancing. Whenever glanced back at me, gave reassuring nod, lifted my sprite in acknowledgement. Many adults present, watching their kids across dance floor. Noticed particularly attractive woman, doing same. Our eyes met, exchanged smiles. She had 2 boys who frequently approached her table for money, snacks, drinks. My daughter seemed to prefer hanging out with them rather than playing elsewhere. As finished typing message, looked up to see attractive woman approaching. Other men watching her too. Wore snug ski pants, accentuating her figure. Sweater radiating warmth against chilly atmosphere. "Must be Isabella and Lucy's father," she said with smile. "Why not join rest of your family instead of sitting here alone?" Tried hiding surprise. Responded warmly, "Guess my girls have good judgment. That's why they're with you. I'm Catherine. Gabriel and Daniel are my boys, ages 16 and 14. She introduced herself. "They'll be 21 before I know it." Smiled, realizing our children we're same ages. What a coincidence. "Spent time watching your girls," Catherine remarked, glancing at them. "They're incredibly sweet. You should be proud." "Certainly am proud. Your boys seem well-behaved too. Unless just because you're watching." Catherine chuckled. "You're quite observant. Nice seeing father who watches children as attentively as I do. Work from home, so I'm one seeing them off morning, welcoming them back afternoon. They get lots of attention. Most significant part of my life now, for both of us. First day in Crystal Valley, teenagers quickly planned. Next day's skiing activities. Catherine and I coordinated schedules, taking turns chaperoning them. Decided send them off morning, have breakfast together, then ski late into afternoon. Over next week, Catherine and I got closer. Both liked what discovered. Felt good confiding about Victoria. My plans for divorce. Didn't mention custody pursuit. Wanted to make things easier for myself, while ensuring girls' well-being. Though not proud of it, felt like best option. Having them with me, instead of that selfish woman. Catherine had been widow for 2 years. After husband's tragic death, in drunk driving accident, both struggled forgiving those who altered our lives. Just having someone who understood, immensely comforting for both. On final evening, shared quiet dinner without teenagers. Moment I cherished amid chaos. Once kids out of sight, settled into final moments. Wrapped in each other's warmth. On couch. By week's end, unmistakably clear. Needed more time together. Feeling echoed by our 4 teenagers. Realization hit me. Time to end marriage with Victoria. Returning home, found Victoria looking worn and drained. Maybe joining us in Montana? Could have brought her relief, but felt little inclination to care. After watching her behavior, during our first night away, had lost any urge to monitor what went on at home. Instructed Peter to handle divorce paperwork. Submit everything to bank. Girls reacted to news. As anticipated, their concern evident, had witnessed steady unraveling of my relationship with Victoria over past 6 months, contrasting my newfound joy with Catherine. Against bitterness between their mother and me, Isabella finally broke silence. What happens to Lucy and me now? Where do we go from here? Pulling them close, spoke softly. Since day you were born, you've been my world. That will never change. I've requested full custody. In divorce, so we can stay. In this house together as family. You'll continue at same school. Friendships won't suffer. I'll keep cooking your favorite meals. You'll have freedom to see your mother as much as you wish. Paused, making sure they understood. During divorce, you'll have say, in where you want to live. One who gets custody keeps house. Until you both finish college. This choice ultimately yours. Remember, no matter who choose, both your mom and I love you deeply. You'll stay in this home. Stay in your school. Don't feel rushed. Have time to decide. Tried lightening mood, knowing how heavy this was. For now, take my car. Go out to dinner. That way your mom and I can have private conversation. Without you overhearing, after they left, glanced at phone. Noticed flurry of missed calls and texts. Suspected who it was. Rather than ignore, dialed Victoria. When answered, her voice erupted like storm. No greeting. You have no idea what doing. She spat, launching into tirade. Could have melted phone's plastic. Let her unleash anger. Allowed her vent and scream, until breath finally gave out. When paused, took steadying breath. Why would you do this? After everything done for you and girls? Don't you love me anymore? Why won't you come home? So we can talk this out. Before could respond, she hung up abruptly. Sensed she already on way over, her emotions propelling her. Moments later burst through door, fury radiating from her. Why? She demanded. Advancing toward me, remained calm. You've been seeing Benjamin Hargrove. Behind my back every Tuesday night. Did you really think there wouldn't be consequences? I gave you chance to start over. In Montana, but you chose him. Over our family. Her expression twisted in disbelief. You need to leave? Gather your things. Move out! Find hotel for now. While we sort this out. Won't make scene today. But welcome to see girls. Whenever you wish. Once you're settled, please consult lawyer. To understand divorce terms, think they're fair, but ultimately your choice. Meanwhile, appreciate if you'd stop contacting me, except about girls, or retrieving belongings. From now on, conversations, limited to divorce, retreated to my office, closed door behind me, sound of her suitcases, dragging across floor, echoing in silence. What didn't hear was crying, which felt disheartening, deep down knew. Didn't want reconciliation, seemed Victoria felt same. Changing locks and resetting codes. Passwords became next priority. Victoria was furious. Throughout divorce proceedings, not out of love or desire to salvage what we had, rather to maintain facade that she had upper hand. Wanted everyone think? She kicked out inadequate accountant, not other way around. Embarrassment of divorce filing rattled her. Neither of us interested in marriage counseling. Our relationship long beyond repair. Considered myself fortunate to proceed with divorce, while many men trapped in toxic situations. Isabella and Lucy chose live with me. Seeing mother only sporadically, grew uncomfortable with Victoria's probing questions about whether I missed her, kept interactions minimal, often making myself scarce. During her visits, Victoria's disdain for my small accounting firm was painfully obvious. She determined to keep her 401k and deferred compensation funds, believing I was unaware they existed, chose not to reveal my knowledge of her affair at Regency Hotel, saving that card for strategic moment. She took stylish furniture, leaving us with what remained. Strangely abandoned all family photos, like they were relics, meant to serve her memory. While suspected she had hidden funds, wasn't my concern anymore. My focus shifted entirely to my children and business, everything related to Victoria. Taking back seat, anonymous source circulated videos of Benjamin engaging in intimate activities with Victoria, resulting in surge of legal expenses. Throughout city, couldn't help wondering about their dynamics beyond bedroom. After divorce, invited Catherine and her sons over for weekend, while refrained from obvious closeness to set good example for kids. Still exchanged kisses and embraces, finding comfort in each other. Catherine was perfect remedy, helping me move past bitterness of my marriage. We understood path, our relationship taking. Ensured our teenagers received attention they needed. Catherine, registered nurse, working remotely for health insurance company, even found ideal workspace in my home. Year later, tipped off friend at CPA firm about 2 senior employees misusing bank credit cards during work hours. Resulting audit led to their dismissal. Legal action from bank, impacting their careers. In financial sector, as Benjamin faced mounting financial obligations towards his wife and children, Victoria, now working as paralegal at divorce law office, drew on personal experiences to guide clients navigating similar challenges. Despite counseling others, she privately struggled with regret over collapse of own marriage. Interestingly, no longer seemed focused on dating successful businessmen or doctors. Shift from previous aspirations. As year drew to close, my seemingly worthless investments accumulated over $2 million, promising prosperous year ahead, especially with my wedding to Catherine scheduled for mid-June.